All right, hey guys, we're here to tackle long division today. We're going to start out with a little more of the basic problems, and then we're going to kind of make them a little bit harder. So let's start out with kind of basic one. All right, let's start with 25 divided by 4. Now, one thing to keep in mind as we go through these is remember your terminology. All right, remember the number that's inside the house, if you will, that is called the dividend. That's the number I'm dividing, okay? The number on the outside is called the divisor. This is how many groups I'm splitting this up to. So if this was a word problem, this might be, 25 Skittles divided among 4 people, okay? So my dividend, my divisor, and then my answer that's going to go up on top of the house is called the quotient. Okay, so remember our steps for long division. You can remember them by the funny little saying, does McDonald's serve cheeseburgers? Now, since this is a shorter problem, we're not going to be really using the cheeseburger part of the memory device, but it's going to come in handy later. So go ahead and just learn it. All right, so when I'm dividing, my first step, of course, is to divide. So I ask myself, can 4 fit into this 2? Can I divide 2 by 4? No. Now without getting into fractions and decimals, and we don't want to do that. Okay? 4 times nothing is going to give me 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little X over top there to say, you know what? I can't fit it in there. If I can't, then I need to go into the next number, and I need to say, well, what is 25 then divided by 4? Now, you may be scratching your head and say, well, Miss Cruz, nothing times 4 equals 25. That's not one of my 4 multiplication tables. You're right. So what you have to do is you have to say, well, how many times can 4 go into 25 without going over? Remember we talked about the Price is Right, if you've ever seen that. Their goal is to get closest to the price without going over. If you go over, you're disqualified. So when I think 4 to 25, I say, well, how many times can that go without going over? Well, I know that 4 times 5 is 20. I bet I can fit another one in without going over. What about 4 times 6? Okay, I've got 24. Very close, but doesn't go over the top. So when I divide, I go 25 divided by 4 is 6. I write my answer up top, lining it up, and then I've done my division. My next step is to multiply. I'm always going to multiply what's on the top of the house, my quotient, by my divisor, what's on the outside of the house. Okay, I'm always multiplying like this. Always, always, always. All right, so let's multiply. What is 6 times 4? 24. Okay, I've multiplied. Now my next step is to subtract. 25 minus 24 is 1. Now I don't have anything left over here to divide. So this 1 is just a leftover. So I'm going to bring it up here with an R and say remainder 1. This means that I had enough to give each person 6 Skittles, but I had 1 left over. I couldn't divide 25 evenly by 4, so I have a remainder. All right, let's try another one. All right, we're going to keep this. Always keep this written at the side of your paper. If this is hard for you, I would always keep your little memory device written on your paper. All right, so let's try this one. Let's do 39. Actually, let's scratch that one. I don't want to get into that one yet. Okay, let's do 28 divided by 4. Okay, so let's go through our steps again. Can I fit 4 into 2? 4 times something equals 2. No, I can't. So I'm going to put a little X here. And then I say, well, 4 can't go into the 2. How many times can it go into that whole number there? How many times can it go into 28? All right, well, you think through your multiplication tables, and you say, oh, that's actually one I know. There is something times 4 that can give me 28. And that is a 7. All right, so I've divided. Now my next step is to multiply. 7 times 4 is 28. I subtract, and this time I don't have any remainder. This means that 28 could evenly be divided up by 4 with no leftovers. Okay, let's have you try one on your own. And so after I write it up here, I want you to pause the video. I want you to actually work it on your own. and then you can press play and you can see if you got it right. All right, so let me see which problem I want to do here. Let's do 32 divided by 5. So right now I'm trying to keep your divisors here easier multiplication facts that hopefully you know. Now you need to be working on those 6s, 7s, 8s, but for right now we'll kind of keep it 5s and unders to help you just mainly get this part. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video, see if you can work this problem out, and then in a minute you can press play and see if you got it. All right, let's see how you did. All right, can 5 go into 3? Nope, so I'm going to put a little X up there. Can 5 go into 32? Well, it can, but not evenly. So start thinking, okay, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Okay, if I go in 7 times, that's 35. That's too much. I went over. So go one more down and let's try 5 times 6. Okay, don't get confused with the division. You are doing 32 divided by 5, but a lot of people find it easier to say how many times does 5 fit into 32. Because when you say 32 divided by 5, sometimes your brain starts freaking out saying, there's nothing times 5 that equals 32. It's not a problem that I know. So I prefer to just think of division as how many times can this go into this. Okay? So we said 5 will go into 32 6 times. Now, my next step is to multiply. 6 times 5 is 30. I subtract, and I get 2. Now, I've already divided by both numbers up there. There's nothing left over here, so that means 2 is my leftover. It's my remainder. Don't forget to bring it up top and say remainder 2. So my answer is 6, remainder 2. All right, let's try one more, and then we'll start moving on to something a little bit trickier. All right, let's do, let's see here. Let's do 18 divided by 3. All right, go ahead and pause the video, work that out, and then we'll check it. All right, welcome back. Here we go. 3 cannot go into 1, so I put a little X there. How many times can 3 go into 18? All right, good. That should be a multiplication fact or division fact that you know. 3 can go into 8 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18 exactly, so when I subtract, I have no leftovers. 18 could evenly be divided 3 ways with no leftovers. Okay? So that is just for dividing when you have what we would call a 2-digit dividend. There's only 2 numbers, if you will, 2 digits inside the house in the dividend. In our next video, we're going to look at when sometimes there's 2 digits here, and you're going to have a 2-digit or a 3-digit answer up here. So that's going to be our next video.